Okay, hi. Today we can start. I am taking new project. Creating a new class. Created a package com.bkr files. Program one. I need a main method. So, see, by using Java program, if you want to create a file, if you want to create a directory, you can create a directory, you can create a file. And if you want to write the data into the file, you can write the data into the file. If you want to read the data from the file, you can read the data from the file. Like this is called, these all operations like related to the file. Using Java program, Java class, if you want to interact with the file system, we can interact with the file system by using file handling APIs. File handling APIs means all the classes already implemented regarding the file handling. Those all APIs from the java.io package. Whatever classes we are using for file handling, everything is from the java.io package. Now, let's see the basic program. How to create a directory. If you want to create a folder in your system, you can create a folder. In java.io, control space will give which class it is. It is from the java.io package. File equal to new file. We are giving the file by using file constructor. We can create a file. We can give the path through which path we have to give. Based on the path, it will create the directory. Now we are seeing how to create the directory. Now, if you want to create a directory, first we have to go to the location where you want to create the directory. If you want to find, now I want to create a folder inside the file handling project. So right click on the project, go to the properties. Now my project is there inside the V drive program file handling. So I'm just copying the location. I just copied in the properties, Control V. Now inside this, I want to create folder as a files. By using file object, I just specified the path of a folder where I want to create a new folder. Creating a folder means directory. Now, we have a function to create a folder. File.mkdir. By calling make directory for function, the file class, whatever inside the file class, we have a mkdir function. By calling this function, the folder is created for a specified location. Now I specified the location of V programs file handling files. There it is creating the folder for us. Control S. Now this is a simple program to create a folder for specified location. Now if you go and run this, after running this, we are not getting any output because we are not printing anything. So after running that, we have to go to the folder, we have to refresh the folder to make sure the folder is created or not. Now inside the file handling, the folder is created for us. This is a file folder. Inside the folder, we don't have anything. But now, how to create a file for a specified location? To create a file, we have to use the same file class. I created a file one class. Now I want to create a file inside the file handling project. So I simply specify the file name, file.txt. Now I not specified any folder location, but I simply creating a file, file.txt in the current project location. If you want to create any files inside your project, you simply just create a file object and call the method of file1.create file, create new file. We have create new file method which will create a file for us in the specified location. If you not specify any location, it will create file in the current location. Current location means file handling folder. So this create new file is a type of checked exception. We have to handle with using the try catch block, or we have to handle using the throws. This is IO exception type. See, whatever checked exceptions we have to handle using try catch block or throws. Now I am handling this using the try catch block. Now Control S. Now if you go and run this, here whenever we are running this folder is already there. So whatever folder is there, it will be like that. It will check inside that make the mkdir. It will check if the folder is already there, it won't create the new folder. If folder is not there, it will create the folder for us. And similarly, we created one more file object. By using this file object, I am creating a text file inside the current folder, current location. Current location is file handling project. So inside a current file handling project, by calling create new file, the file is created for us. That is a type of checked exception type. So we are handling using the try catch block. Now file is created for us. Now we have seen how to create a folder, how to create a file. If you want to create a folder, we have to give the full location path. If you give simply the files, it won't create folder for us. If you want to create a folder, we have to give the full path in which location you want to create a folder. But if you want to create a file will take care of getting the current path and it will create the file for us. Now I created a txt file. If you want to create another file also, you can create. Now let's go and see some other methods which will useful for the file handling when we create a file and handling with the files. Now right click on my package. I'm creating a new class, program 2. Now inside a main, now I have a requirement of creating a file in the files folder. How we can create? Same way, can create file equal to new file of inside a V drive, program file handling project. Inside file handling project, I have files folder. Inside the files folder, I want to create a.txt. So I just created a Control Shift. If you want to import all the unimported packages, we have Control Shift O. By default, it will import the all packages for us. That is a shortcut for importing the all packages. Now I just created a file object. Now I want to create a file here, text file. So we have a function create new file. By calling create new file function, the file is created for us. This is a checked exception type. So we are handling using the throws here. We can handle this using the try catch block or throws. By using any way we can handle this. Now, before creating a file, I want to find whether the file is already exist or not inside this location. So I want to find, we have a function exist. By calling exist function, it will tell the file, whatever file we are having in this constructor, the location of the file. If the same file is already there, it will give the true. If the file is not there, it will give the false. So before creating that, it will give the false. Then after creating that, it will give the true. Let's go and see this. See, now before creating a file, it will give the false because the file is not there in this location. Now after creating the file, we have to refresh this folder to reflect the file into the folder. Now inside the files folder, our file is created a.txt. After creating that, we got the true. So in our implementation, if you want to find whether the file is already there, now a.txt file is already there. So before going to create a file, if your file is already there, don't create the file. If file is not there, then create the file. If you want to validate that, you can validate using the exist function. Now, inside your directory, if you want to find, now file is created. If you want to find the path of the file, let's see one by one what all methods are there. If you want to find the absolute path of the file, we can find it. This is a getting absolute path. We have get absolute path function. We can get the normal path of the file also. You can get it by using a file dot get path. Control S. Here the absolute path and basic path also same. So we can see difference between absolute path and the normal path. File 1 equal to new file. Now I want to create view.txt. This is in the directly I am creating in the file handling folder. Now whenever we call file 1 dot create new file, now I want to get absolute path for the file 1. I want to get the basic path for the file 1. Control Shift F for the formatting our code. That is shortcut for formatting our code. Control Shift F. I want to get file 1 absolute path, file 1 the path. Now let's go and run this. Now if you see, absolute path is, we'll get the entire path of the file. But if you go to the normal path, the path which we are giving to the file when we're creating in the file constructor, by using the file constructor, we are creating the path. So we'll get the normal path which we give for the file constructor argument. If you get the absolute path, we'll get the entire path where the file is created. This is the location where the file is created. Now, we have a file object. If you want to find the file object is handling the path of directory or handling the path of the normal file. If you want to find that, file dot is file. We have a function is file and is directory. If you want to find the file object is holding the directory or file, you can find using the is file, and file object is holding the directory, you can find using the is directory. These are the methods which we can use when we want to find out whether our file is holding the directory or path. Now this file object is holding the file because this is a.txt. So this will give the true. Whenever we call is directory, it will give the false because it is not holding the directory, it is holding the file. Now we have seen how to create a file, how to create a directory by using file object. Now let's see, once we create a file, if you want to modify the file, like if you want to copy the same file and creating a new file with a different name, how we can handle that? That means we can create a duplicate file by using different name, or we can modify the file. Now let's go and take the new class. Now inside the program T, we have created the file already. Now let's create a file. File equal to new file. New file of c.txt. Now I want to create a file inside a file handling folder. After creating a file, I want to modify the file. Before we enter, I want to import all my packages. Control Shift O for importing the unimported packages. File dot see, if we want to rename the file name, you can rename it. It's modifying means renaming the file and creating the new file. Rename of cnew.txt. If you go here, this rename function, it's not applicable for the see, whenever we want to rename the file name, first we can create a file dot create new file. After creating a file, that is the first step. After creating a file, create one more file object. We have a rename method which will take the file object. So we can give the file new object. By calling this, it will create the new file for us. I'm just adding the throws. See, if you want to modify the file name, first create a file object, call the create new method. This is we have seen till now. Now create a new one more file object. That file object we can pass an argument to the file.rename to method. So it will rename the file for us. Let's go and run this. You go and refresh it. First file is created c.txt. After file is created, we want to rename the file. How we can rename is we can create one more file object and we can call the file.rename method, rename to. Whenever we calling that, whatever file we are already created, that file name is changed to another name. So that is the way to rename the file. Modify the file name. See, everything is in Java. We can use all APIs. APIs means classes and methods which are already created by the JDK developers. If you want to handle with anything, like to maintaining the data, we have seen the collection API. To interact with the file system, like creating files and folders, renaming a file name, we have already implemented the methods, some predefined methods. We can use the methods, we can handle that. Now this is a way to modify the file name.
We want to create another name, we defaultly give the name.
Whenever we want to if you want to modify the name, we have to create another file object. That file object we have to pass to the rename to method. Then only it will change. Otherwise, we can't change that. Now we have one folder. Inside a folder, we have multiple files. If you want to read all files inside a folder, how we can read? Go to the new, creating a new class. Program 4. I'm taking the main method. We have multiple files in the folder or directory. How to read file names, all file names. See, here we have folder, files folder. Now I want to create one more file under the folder. File equal to new file of v program file handling files. I already have a.txt. I want to create b.txt. Control Shift O, shortcut for importing all packages. File dot create new file. This will create for us, but we need to throw the. We have to handle using try catch block, or we can handle using the throw also. Same file object I will use, but I will create new file of absolute path. If this is a common, see, if anything common, if you want to use multiple times, use one string path equal to similarly. I want to create one more file, so I created one path because I want to avoid the duplicate c.txt. Now I used same file object, but the file object is changed, object content is changed, but reference is same. So first file is created, second file also it should create. Let's go and run this. Now go and refresh our file handling project. It should create two files for us, b.txt, c.txt. Now I want to read all the files, file names, what all file names inside the files folder. File equal to new file of path. See, we have a method list files. List files method will give you the list of files. So whenever you get the all list of files inside a directory, so we have to do the for each loop. See, we by default Eclipse will provide for us for each loop. Inside for each loop, I want to find system.println of file2 dot get absolute path. So I want to get all absolute paths of a files which all are there inside the my directory. Now in the same program, what we are doing is first we created one file b.txt. I created one more file c.txt. Whatever I selected. Now I got the path of files folder. Inside files folder, I want to get all the files. We have a list files method which will give you the list of files. So I am iterating the loop. I am getting the absolute path. Now let's go and see. I have a doubt here if it will take the files or not in this path. Now it is fine. It is giving the all list of files inside the my directory. If you want to read all the files, multiple files in a folder, how to read the file names? You can read using the list files method. See, if you want to remove a file, now we have seen how to create a file, how to read the file names, and how to create a directory. So now we want to find how to delete the file, how to delete the folder. That we can see in the next program. Right click new class. Program 5 main method. Now for deleting file also we have to create a file object. File equal to new file. See, everything we need, we have a file object. Create a file object and call the methods which all are inside the file class of a JDK development. By using that methods, we can handle all the operations, creating, updating, deleting. So first I want to delete file.txt in the current folder. Control Shift O. Now file dot delete. Whenever we call file dot delete, it will delete the file for us and it will give the Boolean value whether it is deleted successfully or not. After deleting the file, I want to find what is the value for the result. Now I want to delete the file.txt inside my project, file handling project. So I want to delete that. Let's go and delete this. Just refresh this. Now file.txt is there. If you refresh, it got deleted. See, using Java program, we can create a file, we can create a directory, we can modify the file name, or we can delete the file. Now let's see how to delete the folder. Now I want to delete the folder of files. We can use for same file object, file of inside of v program file handling and files. This is my folder. To delete the folder also, we have to use the same method. See, whenever it is deleting the folder, whatever file is a.txt, b.txt, c.txt, everything should be deleted. Now let's go and delete this. Now here, the file is not exist because already file.txt we deleted. So we got the output as false. Now let's go and refresh. Deleting the folder is a different way. Let's see that. Now this is a folder name. Now I'll give you one more path. Let's go and see. Result I want to print. We'll see. You can't delete using the delete method, I think. Want to by using delete method, we can't delete the folder. But if you want to delete the all files of a folder, now this is not possible. Let's skip that. I'm just commenting it. I'll tell how to delete the folder. Before that, I want to delete all files of a whatever files a.txt, b.txt, c.txt inside my folder. How we can delete that? Now I created a file object. Now by using file object, file dot, we can get the list of files. After getting the list of files, list of files object is a file list. So after getting this, we will do for each loop and we can delete the each and every file. Now this is the operation to delete each and every file of a whatever files exist inside the folder. First we can get the all list of files. After getting the list of files, we can call delete method. Now let's go on this. Now if you go and refresh, whatever files a.txt, b.txt, c.txt all got deleted. Now let's try this. Deleting the folder. So whenever we have files under the folder, if you have files under the folder, you can't delete directly. If you want to delete a folder, first we have to delete all the files under the folder, then we can delete the folder. So that's what we have to remember here. How to delete a folder? How to delete a folder which have files. First step, first delete all files in the folder. Second one, then delete the folder. Folder we can call as a directory. These are also for the interview they will ask. How we are going to delete a folder which have files exist. If we want to do that, first we have to delete all the files inside the folder, then we can delete the folder. Now today we have seen how to create a file and how to create a directory. How to create a files under the directory also we have seen, and how to modify the file name we have seen, and how to delete a file and how to delete a folder we have seen. Tomorrow we can see how to write a data into the file, adding some data to the file, and how to read the data from the file. And we can see some advanced concepts of file handling. And we can see the generics also tomorrow, because I already checked in my changes to some GitHub. Now I try to pull that, it's not happening. Tomorrow I'll pull all my code, I will explain. We can see in the tomorrow class, generics and remaining file handling portion.
Ramaram bebe. Krishna Chaudhary.